Hello, hello. How is it going? Happy Wednesday. Happy lunch and learn time. I'd like to know, does this time work out for you? Do you like the lunchtime one? Do you prefer the evening? I really need to know, for those of you who watch the replay, comment below what time of day you would be most available to catch it live, if you want to watch it live, because I would love to be able to interact with you. And if you have any questions as I'm talking, of course, that would be awesome for me to be able to answer them. But I don't know what time works best for everybody. So please, oh, actually, I think I'm going to put my earbuds in so that the microphone is a little bit better. I don't know if it's connected. That's a little bit better. Sorry, normally I have them in, but I forgot. Okay, so yeah, let me know what time works best for you so that I can try to accommodate everybody to be on live in when you can actually watch live. All right, so I wanted to talk about keto today because keto, I don't know, maybe it's died down a little bit, but as I'm sure you've heard about it before, it's been a huge fad, for weight loss. And so since we're usually talking about sustainable weight loss, I thought this would be a really good topic to kind of talk through what it is, what my recommendations are, and all that good stuff, and to see if you have any other specific questions about it as well. So let's start off with what keto is. Stands for the ketogenic diet. And the ketogenic diet actually was originally developed for children with seizures. So for epilepsy, they developed this diet that helped put the children into a state of ketosis that actually reduced the number of seizures that they were having. So that's actually where the origin of this diet is from. And so I'm not too sure like when adults started trying this diet, but basically I think it was basically like as a response to Atkins. So if we think back, Atkins was a response to the low-fat craze of the 90s. Low-fat craze of the 90s meant they were pumping more sugar into everything, which led to a spike in maybe diabetes and a whole bunch of the added sugar in our diet, which led to more weight gain. And so as a response to that, the Atkins diet became really popular in the early 2000s. And I think as Atkins was popular, it kind of paved the way for keto to become popular for weight loss as well. So the keto diet is actually, like in the media, I think it's a little bit misinterpreted as being high protein. Actually, a true ketogenic diet is high fat, moderate protein, and extremely low carbohydrates. So people who eat keto for weight loss, I think tend to eat way more protein than what is, kind of normally recommended on the diet. So the keto diet should be at least 70% of your total calories coming from fat. And then I think it's like maybe, let's say 15 to 25% from protein, and then less than, I don't know what the rest is, like way less than 10, maybe like 5% for coming from carbohydrates. And the reason why is to put your body into a state of ketosis, which basically means you're using fat as your primary fuel source rather than carbohydrates. So if we think about our body's normal processes, our body prefers to use carbohydrates and glucose for its primary source of energy. I talk about it a lot. We need carbs. Carbs are our primary source of energy. But when you go into ketosis, your body uses fat as its primary fuel source. Carbohydrates, it's easier and it's more efficient to use that as your fuel source, but once you kind of break away into ketosis, then that's when your body's like default is to use the fat. And in order to stay in ketosis, you have to have that very minimal amount of carbohydrates. So because of this drastic decrease in carbohydrates, most people see a lot of weight loss on keto. And it makes sense. And there's no denying, I'm sure a lot of you have tried keto. If you've tried it, I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it. But, you know, I know a ton of people who've tried keto and they've lost a lot of weight. There's no arguing that keto works for weight loss. However, my question is, how sustainable is that diet long term? And if you know anything about me and my nutrition philosophy, it's we need to set you up for that long-term success to create those habits that you can follow through with the rest of your life so that we're avoiding this weight cycling. So what I see with keto is people follow keto for a couple weeks, a couple months, they lose a bunch of weight, but then a birthday happens, or they want to go out for dinner with their partner, or they go on vacation, and then they go out of ketosis, and then they start eating carbohydrates again, and then they don't go back on keto because it's not sustainable for their lifestyle. So they see this weight cycle where you drop weight, gain it back after you stop doing whatever diet that you did to lose that weight. And then another reason why people see fast weight gain after keto, and I've talked about this before, I don't remember exactly what video. However, for every 1 gram of carbohydrates stored in your muscles, there are 3 to 4 grams of water attached to it. So if you take away all the carbohydrates, which means originally, you know, it's taken away from your diet, you're not getting any more from your diet, so then your body has to tap into those muscle stores of carbohydrates called glycogen, then it uses that first, but as you're using that glycogen, those stored carbohydrates, you're also getting rid of all that extra water. That's why when you take out carbohydrates, you see a big drop down in your weight because it's that big drop of water weight. And similarly, when you add the carbohydrates back in and your muscles start to store the glycogen again, it's also storing that extra water. So that's why a lot of times people feel like they complain of feeling bloated or that they gained a bunch of weight right after. And that normalizes a little bit. So of course it's not the full contributing factor to all the weight gain. But for that first little jump, that's something to keep in mind, is that extra water that's stored with the carbohydrates. So you might be thinking, okay, well, it works for weight loss. That's great. But if it's keto diet, if it's vegan, if it's intermittent fasting, if it's Weight Watchers, whatever it is, whatever diet you're choosing, my question to you is, can you follow that for the rest of your life? And most of the time, the answer is no with keto. And so if it's not something that you can sustain long term, I wouldn't recommend doing it. The other really big thing with keto that is just crazy to me, and I see it in the labs, and there's lots of research showing this as well. Because you're consuming such a high amount of fat, and if we're thinking about keto culture, you know, all of the maybe Instagram pages or Pinterest recipes, whatever recipes you're following for keto, according to keto, you know, basically you can have as much bacon and cheese and butter as you want. It's healthy on keto, which is a whole other conversation, right? It's like, But because it's so high in saturated fat, that saturated fat leads to an increase of your blood markers that are those precursors for heart disease, like cholesterol, your triglycerides. So your labs they reflect all of that saturated fat that you've been eating while following this diet. It's like, okay, yes, we've seen a weight loss because of keto, but if we're decreasing your overall health and what your blood is showing your level of health is, you know, that's gonna decrease your life expectancy if you're, you know, maybe you weigh less, but if you're gonna have a heart attack because of all the bacon you've been eating, well, that's not really a good option either. So I would really encourage anybody who is either currently on keto or wanting to go on keto to reconsider, because I want you to do something that's sustainable long-term, and I want you to prioritize your health as well. And so prioritizing your health is about, you know, eating those foods that help your blood, help your energy levels, don't make you feel like crap. I wasn't sure if I was going to say it or not, but I'll say it. I'll say crap. You know, we hear about the keto flu, right? People who are, especially those first week or so on keto, they don't feel very good. Their energy is low. They feel sick, which isn't really something we want either. We did get a question. We got 2 questions on the discussion post from yesterday about when I was asking what your thoughts were and questions are about keto. One question was, can we cycle keto? Like maybe like a week on, a week off. Well, here's the thing. I mentioned at the beginning about how the reason why you have to have so few carbohydrates is to keep your body in a state of ketosis. If you cycle it, and it varies how long it takes for each individual to go into ketosis. It might be a couple days, it might be a week. So if you're cycling through being in ketosis and then eating carbs, your body's going to be all confused, all out of whack. And really, I can't imagine that would result in good results. Not to mention getting that keto flu for the first week of each one of the cycles. That doesn't sound very fun, and it's not sustainable either, right? The other question was about if it's possible to do a plant-based keto diet. And I haven't personally worked with anybody who has done that. However, it's absolutely possible. If we're thinking about plant-based sources of fat, that'd be a lot of avocado. It'd be a lot of nuts and seeds, olive oil. But if we're thinking, and like chia seeds, flax seeds, those sorts of things, so you can get in the calories. But if we're thinking about feeling full and satisfied and eating for volume, you know, it's pretty easy to eat. Let's use 2,000 calories for like an easy number. 2,000 calories of avocado. Maybe you eat, what would that be, like a couple avocados and you're there, but you're going to be hungry. So maybe you've reached your calorie goals, maybe you're in ketosis, but if you're hungry all the time, it's not sustainable. However, like I was talking about last week with plant-based diets, you make your own rules. And if for you, keto is sustainable and you don't feel like you ever need to eat carbohydrates again, and you like it, you like the way your body feels, you're eating a healthy diet, then I can't be the one to stop you. Would I recommend it? Absolutely not. All right, so let me know what other questions you have, what your experience with keto has been, and if there's a specific time you'd like to see me come on live. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope that this was helpful to you, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.